So Spielberg had this one rule on the set of Jurassic Park. Nobody on set was allowed to call the dinosaurs monsters or creatures. They had to call them animals. That's it. That was the whole rule. And look, when you first hear that, it sounds like one of those weird director quirks that doesn't really mean anything. But that rule is literally the entire reason the original still works 30 years later. And it's the reason every sequel feels like something is just off. Because think about what that rule actually does. If the dinosaurs are animals, they're not the problem. The people who brought them back are the problem. The arrogance, the greed, we have a board meeting on Friday and the numbers need to work. Energy that makes smart people ignore every single warning sign until everything is on fire. The T-Rex isn't the villain of Jurassic Park. The people who built that island are. The T-Rex is just being a T-Rex. And that's why that Brachiosaurus scene still hits. Nothing is happening. Nobody is in danger. It's just this enormous animal eating leaves off a tree. But you believe it's real. You lean forward, and that feeling, that specific feeling of looking at something and genuinely believing it exists, that's the whole foundation the movie is built on. Everything else only works because of that. The sequels lost that. Not all at once, but piece by piece. These are the 5 times Jurassic Park broke its golden rule, and honestly, the franchise never recovered from any of them. Let's get into it. Number 1, the Indominus Rex kills for sport. Okay, so here's something Jurassic World just kind of slips past you if you're not paying attention. The Indominus doesn't just escape and start causing problems. She gets out, finds a paddock full of ankylosaurs, kills every single one of them, and just leaves. Doesn't eat them, doesn't need the space, just kills them and walks away. And the movie straight up tells you she kills for sport. And I'm sorry, but that's not how predators work. Like at all. Every single hunt a predator goes on carries real risk. You can get hurt, you burn through energy you need. A lion that gets kicked in the face chasing prey it didn't even need can end up dying from that injury weeks later. Predators are incredibly selective about when they hunt because hunting is genuinely dangerous and expensive. They do it when they're hungry. That's it. And here's something people don't think about enough: when a predator makes a kill, it eats. Then it rests. Sometimes for days. A lioness that brings down a wildebeest will eat until she physically can't anymore, and then just lie there in the grass doing nothing for 2 days. Because that's what animals do. They don't go looking for more things to kill when they're full. That's not how any of this works. Massacring a bunch of animals and leaving the bodies there, that's not predator behavior. That's horror movie villain behavior. That's something a serial killer does in Act 1 to show you how dangerous they are. And here's why that's such a big problem. In the original, the T-Rex made complete sense every single time she showed up. She ate Gennaro because she was hungry. She chased the Jeep because it was moving through her territory. She ignored the kids at one point because she'd already eaten and lost interest. You could explain literally everything she did through biology. That's what made her so terrifying. She wasn't evil. She was just completely indifferent to whether you lived or died. You weren't a person to her. You were just another thing in her environment. The Indominus has actual malice. She wants to cause harm. And the second that's true, the entire moral heart of the original just collapses. Because in 1993, the movie was really asking, what does it say about us that we did this? The dinosaurs weren't the villains. We were. That's the whole point. But if the Indominus is just straight up evil, now the movie is just asking, how do we kill this thing? There's no uncomfortable question anymore. No mirror being held up. Just a monster that needs to be stopped. You've gone from Jurassic Park to a generic monster movie, and I don't think the film even realized it happened. Number 2. The Indoraptor smirks. Okay, this one genuinely bothers me every time I think about it. Fallen Kingdom. The Indoraptor is stalking a kid through a bedroom at night, and it slowly taps its claw on the bed frame, looks right at the kid hiding underneath, and smirks. It's doing a bit. It's performing. It knows it's scary, and it's leaning into it. And look, I get what they were going for. It's creepy. It looks cool. But reptiles literally cannot smirk. That's not me being picky. They just don't have the facial muscles for it. Crocodiles, lizards, snakes, none of them can make that face. And even if somehow the anatomy worked, the psychology doesn't. Animals don't taunt their prey. They don't drag out a kill because they're enjoying the dramatic tension. A predator wasting time and energy doing theater for its food is a predator that's going to go hungry. Evolution does not reward putting on a show. The original raptors were scary for completely the opposite reason. They were quiet, efficient. They didn't care about you at all. They just wanted to eat you. The kitchen scene is terrifying because those raptors aren't being dramatic. They're methodical. One checks high, one checks low. They communicate quickly. They move in. No smirking, no theatrics, just hunting. That's way scarier than anything the Indoraptor does, because it feels real. When a dinosaur is performing for the audience, it's not a dinosaur anymore. It's an actor in a costume. And the Indoraptor is basically just a slasher villain who happened to be born with scales. Take those away, and you've got Michael Myers stalking someone through a dark house. The franchise at that point wasn't making a dinosaur movie. It was making a haunted house movie, and just using a dinosaur as the killer. Which is a shame, honestly. Because a genuinely animal Indoraptor, fast, silent, completely indifferent, would have been so much more frightening than whatever that bedroom scene was trying to do. Number 3. Blue gets a hero arc. This one sneaks up on you. It doesn't happen in one obvious scene. It just slowly builds across multiple films until you look up one day and realize the raptors are the good guys now. In the original, the raptors communicate through vocalizations and pack hierarchy. Pure biology. Makes total sense. But by the time the World trilogy is going, Blue and Owen have this deep, meaningful bond. And then, in Fallen Kingdom, Blue makes a conscious moral choice to protect Owen against her own kind. She picks a side. She has a conscience. She has, and I cannot stress how weird this is, a character arc. Now animals can be trained, obviously, and animals can genuinely bond with humans. That's real. But there is a huge difference between an animal that's been conditioned to respond a certain way and an animal that's making active moral decisions based on loyalty and personal values. One is biology, the other is a Pixar character. And look, real animal training is fascinating precisely because of what it isn't. When you see a killer whale performing at a show, that animal isn't choosing to perform because it loves you. It's been conditioned through years of positive reinforcement to associate certain behaviors with food rewards. The moment the food stops, the behavior changes. That's it. There's no loyalty there. There's no bond in the way we romanticize it. There's stimulus and response. And the handlers who forget that, the ones who start believing the animal actually loves them the way a person would, those are the ones who end up in serious trouble. That's what the original understood. The raptor handlers in 1993 who thought they had things under control ended up dead because the film knew that mistaking a conditioned response for a relationship is exactly the kind of arrogance that gets people killed. That was the whole point. Blue doesn't carry any of that. Blue is loyal. Blue shows up when Owen needs her. Blue has a redemption arc. And a raptor with a redemption arc is not a raptor. It's a very dangerous dog. Which sure, dangerous dogs are still dangerous, but you don't feel that primal dread of something completely wild and completely indifferent to your survival. That's just gone. The franchise traded it in for something warmer and more crowd-pleasing, and in doing that lost the one thing that made the raptor special in the first place. Number 4. The T-Rex becomes a savior. Okay, go back and watch the ending of the original. Really watch it. The T-Rex shows up. The raptors are there. They fight. The humans get out. Simple, right? But here's what people miss about that scene every single time. It is not a rescue. The T-Rex does not show up to save anyone. She shows up because there are smaller predators in her space, and she does what large apex predators do in that situation. She dominates the territory. The humans survive because they're small enough and fast enough to slip out, while something much bigger has everyone's attention. The T-Rex has zero idea they're even there. She doesn't care if they live or die. She's just being a T-Rex, and they're lucky enough to benefit from it. That indifference is exactly what makes it work. It feels real. It feels biological. It follows the rule. Now watch what happens. In literally every sequel, when the movie paints itself into a corner at the end, things look bad. The villain dinosaur is winning. And then, through a wall at exactly the right moment, the T-Rex shows up and handles it. Every single time. She has become the franchise's emergency exit. The button you press when you haven't actually figured out how to end your movie. She has a narrative agenda now. She's basically a recurring character at this point. She's a mascot. And once an animal has a narrative agenda, it stops being an animal. You stop fearing it and start rooting for it. Which, great, fine, that's fun. But you cannot also tell me these creatures are dangerous and unpredictable and indifferent to human life while having the most iconic one keep showing up to save the day. Those two things just can't coexist in the same franchise. Spielberg's whole rule was built on indifference. The T-Rex savior thing is the most direct betrayal of that rule in 30 years of sequels. And they just keep doing it like nobody notices. Number 5, the biological impossibilities. And then we get to this. 6 limbs, glowing features, creatures built from DNA combinations that couldn't produce anything recognizable under any version of biology, real or theoretical or even generously stretched. Animals that look like they were sketched by someone who'd never seen anything that actually evolved on this planet. This is where the franchise fully stops being science fiction and just becomes fantasy. And look, fantasy is fine. Fantasy is great. But it's a completely different experience from what made Jurassic Park work. Because the wonder of the original wasn't just, wow, dinosaurs are cool. It was, oh my god, this could actually happen. The amber, the DNA extraction, the frog DNA filling the gaps. Every piece of it was just grounded enough that your brain let it through. You gave it the benefit of the doubt because the film earned it. You believed in those animals because they looked like things that belonged somewhere real. Spielberg understood that the spectacle wasn't the action sequences, it was the existence. Seriously, think about the Brachiosaurus scene. Nobody is in danger. There is no threat. It's just this massive animal eating leaves off a tree while 2 scientists completely lose their minds about it. And it is one of the most memorable moments in 30 years of blockbuster movies. Because for those few seconds, you genuinely believed you were looking at something real. That's the whole trick. That's it. The animal didn't need to do anything. It just needed to exist and be believable. And that's the thing about real animals. Even the ones we have today are extraordinary if you actually stop and look at them. A saltwater crocodile hasn't changed in over 200 million years. It survived every mass extinction, every ice age, everything the planet threw at it. That animal, sitting completely still in murky water, is one of the most perfectly engineered killing machines that has ever existed. And it doesn't need 6 limbs or glowing skin to be terrifying. It just needs to be real. Existence is enough. It has always been enough. Once you're building creatures that couldn't exist under any version of science, that's gone. The audience can't buy in. And when they can't buy in, they go numb. Or honestly, even worse, they start feeling sorry for the animals. Pity creeps in. The animals stop being extraordinary and start feeling like something sad and wrong. And pity and wonder are total opposites. You cannot feel both at the same time. Pity is heavier. It always wins. The moment it shows up, the wonder is done. That's where the franchise ended up. An audience sitting in a theater, feeling nothing or feeling sad when a dinosaur shows up on screen. And it all started the moment someone decided a real animal wasn't impressive enough anymore and reached for 6 legs instead. So there it is. 5 times. 30 years. Same mistake made 5 different ways. Spielberg figured it out in 1993. 2 words. The dinosaurs are animals. The sequels forgot that and lost everything. If you enjoyed this video, hit subscribe. And the video on screen is also really cool.